long-term discomfort of not having a gift for every single thing that pops up, because I never could buy gifts for anybody, or I never got any gifts for anybody, and now I can, so I feel like I have to. She's got to give up that short-term pleasure for the long-term safety of me and my husband don't have to worry about not having anything to eat. And that's hard. And I haven't seen a way to get there without emotion, without a story, without you saying, this is how I feel.
Yeah.
And if she looks at you and says, I don't care how you feel, I'm buying gifts for this thing, well, now y'all got a deeper issue y'all got to deal with.
Yeah.
Can you do that?
Yeah, most definitely.
The other side of this, Lester, when it comes to the tactical, is that you should be sitting down with her before the month begins going, hey, what's happening this month? A birthday should not be a surprise. We know when the birthdays are happening. Christmas happens on December 25th every year. I check my calendar, still happening. And so you kind of know what's coming up, and you adjust the budget accordingly. So if we need to add a gift line item in the budget, let's do that. If we need to add a miscellaneous sort of little catch-all of $50 or $100, let's do that so it doesn't derail our plans.
Well, that's often really important, because that's when the $20 plus $20 plus $50 turns into $310, and she goes, oh gosh, you're on that.
Yeah.
And the other thing is we check the budget before we make the purchase. So if we go to the gift, we go, oh gosh, I wish we're going to have to do a handmade gift. Let's make a little basket. Let's get some roses from the garden. Let's go make a basket once. John still has it. He's always has a great thing. So Lester, that's where we come up with a solution together and have the conversation. But there is a part of this that's on her as far as accountability going, you need to check the budget before you make the purchase. That's how I do it. That's how you do it. We can't just hope that we lined up with the budget perfectly. We use that as our guiding kind of North Star. And I think when you do that, you start to add in these line items, it starts to be less and less of a surprise. You get to kind of align it a little more. And on top of that, what is your next goal? What is the thing you guys both agree to is the next thing that we're saving up for?
Well, it's like saving up for, it's like being able to pay off our debts. So
you're in baby step 2.
Correct.
So even more in baby step 2, there's even more intentional sacrifice and intensity here where it's going, we can't afford to buy people gifts. We got to put our own mask on first. We're broke. And think about how many gifts we can buy people once we're debt
What was
free.
that?
With an emergency fund, we're preparing for our future. Then we can look up for opportunities to give and be generous. And so I think that's part of it is you need to have a plan together going, we're going to pay off $700 a month of debt. And here's how we're going to do it. Versus, we really need to save more. We really got to get rid of this debt. We need to get more specific so we can actually hit the target.
Well, have you tried any of these things we're throwing at you? So it don't sound crazy.
No. I have. These are conversations we've had, but I agree. I haven't been very specific with it. I we're blessed to be in the position that we're in. I mean, I'm making more money than I thought with before, and it's not been specific of, hey, we're going to spend X amount of dollars on our debt every single month because we have to. It's just been we want to spend more on our debts, and realistically, we don't have a lot of debt. Even student loans and medical debt and things like that included, we don't have a lot, and so within a year, we can easily have 80% of it paid off.
Put that plan in front of her. Put that plan in front of her, and y'all talk through it. And more importantly than that plan, paint a picture for her of how you're going to be able to breathe in your own home. How you and her are going to have something neither of y'all have ever had, which is economic security. Let her just absorb that and feel her husband radiating this thing that you've probably never radiated before, which is just peace. Man, there's not a lot of gifts I'm gonna buy in exchange for my wife's peace, for my peace. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then, by the way, once you get that peace, once y'all, like George said, you don't owe anybody money, you can buy gifts for everybody. It can be kind of over the top and reckless with who you buy gifts for, because you don't owe anybody money. So this little plan, this 1 year thing we're after, this is just part of reverse engineering the picture you painted her. You get on a budget, you gotta spend less. It becomes, hey, remember, that's what we're aiming for. This is a little blip on that timeline of intentionality and sacrifice. And I hope that helps. We're gonna gift you every dollar premium, Lester. What are you using right now for a budget when you guys sit down together?
Pen and paper, and then I use an Excel sheet, and that's kind of it.
Yeah, you
insurance, there may be a better option than COBRA, Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM is an affordable, biblically based alternative to health insurance that could be a third of the price of COBRA. Yep, CHM programs start as low as $98 a month, and they help families take care of over $11 billion in medical bills since 1981. Learn more at chministries.org/budget. That's chministries.org/budget.
Hey guys, good news. Pre-sale is on now for my new book, Build a Business You Love. If you're a business owner, you know running a business is hard. That's why I wrote this book, to share what we learned over the last 30 years so business owners can grow your business faster with fewer mistakes. Pre-order your copy today, and you'll get access to over $350 in bonus items only at RamseySolutions.com/store. RamseySolutions.com/store. Pre-order today.
680 KFEQ St. Joseph on 95.3 D237HF St. Joseph in the Reed Automotive Group studio. The most up-to-date weather in
The fight over the flights. I'm John Saucier, Fox News. A court hearing today looking into the Trump administration's deportation flights to El Salvador. We have Fox's David Spunt outside the U.S. District Court in Washington.
Minutes into the 80-minute hearing, Judge James Boasberg expressed frustration with the Department of Justice for not following his order to return flights full of suspected gang members from Venezuela to El Salvador and stop any future flights. He asked point blank the DOJ attorney, why was this proclamation signed in the dark and then these people rushed onto planes? The only reason to do that is if you know it's a problem and you want to get them before suits are filed. With clear tension in his voice, Boasberg, named by Republican and Democratic presidents to judicial seats, said the government used, quote, intemperate and disrespectful language in the written briefs, saying he had never seen that tone in other DOJ filings.
The judge says he's determined to get to the bottom of whether his court order was violated, while lawyers for the Trump administration say they acted within bounds of the law. President Trump did speak to the press before boarding Marine One ahead of a trip to his estate in Bedminster, New Jersey. The president giving a brief update on his effort to end the Russian invasion of Ukraine.
We are moving along on Russia-Ukraine. We had a couple of good conversations today, and maybe we can get that death march stopped as soon as possible.
This comes after what President Trump calls a very good conversation with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Zelensky, in a statement on social media, wrote that two leaders have agreed that Ukraine and the United States should continue working together to achieve a real end to the war and lasting peace. NASA astronauts Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore spent 278 extra days on the International Space Station. They're not eligible for overtime pay. President Trump told reporters today they'll get their money. He even says, quote, if I have to, I'll pay it out of my own pocket. America's listening to Fox News.
From around the world, Trey Hingst joining us from Tel Aviv, Israel.
To Washington.
I'm Mike Emanuel. To your own backyard. If a story impacts you or your wallet, we're on it. It's the Fox News Rundown. We give every story the deeper look it deserves with must-listen interviews and smart analysis from the voices you can trust. Start your day with the Fox News Rundown. Listen and follow now at foxnewsrundown.com or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. From the Fox News Podcasts Network.
Hey, this is Trey Gowdy, host of the Trey Gowdy Podcast. Every Tuesday, you'll hear what's on my mind for us. Every Thursday, there's a special bonus episode where we answer the questions that are on your mind. Make sure to spend your Tuesdays and Thursdays with Trey. Subscribe now at foxnewspodcast.com or wherever you download podcasts. Hope to see you.
America's listening to Fox News. Democratic lawmakers have faced public criticism during town halls this week. Fox's Aisha Hosni has more from Washington.
We saw several Democrats this week getting shouted down by voters who think they're just not doing enough to take on Trump and the administration. Men, women standing up and calling these lawmakers soulless, yelling at them to show some backbone. It is very similar to the GOP town halls of 2009 and 2010. That's when Democrats lost a record 63 seats in the midterms. This time, though, the rage is in reverse. It's against the Dems and intensified by Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer.
The minority leader broke with the Democrats and voted with 10 other Democratic lawmakers to allow spending bill to pass the Senate and avert a government shutdown. House Democrats wanted to negotiate further. Federal health officials say cases of tuberculosis continue to rise in the United States, reaching the highest levels in years. Fox's Kristen Goodwin with more.